Sarasota in Florida has been one of the most popular places to move to call your home. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about the top 10 reasons why that is and why you should consider moving to Sarasota if you're looking to move to Florida. My name is Katrin.pfitzenreiter. I'm a real estate agent in Sarasota, of course, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, and Venice. If you're new to my channel, do me a favor, like this video. It does help out the video's performance. And we're going to get right into this video. Number one is Sarasota is where the beaches and the city collide in a rather small geographical area. And that's what makes Sarasota different. You can live the beach lifestyle and the metropolitan urban lifestyle very easily in Sarasota. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. You're not giving up any lifestyles here. You've probably been to beach towns that are exactly that. They're very beachy, very casual. People are walking around in sandals and shorts. They're heading over to a small beach town restaurant or a bar. Well, you can certainly find that here in Sarasota. But because downtown Sarasota is centrally located in Sarasota and it's actually surrounded by some of the best beaches in the U.S., Siesta Key, Lido Key, Anna Maria Island, they're all in driving distance, rather in short driving distance from downtown Sarasota. So yes, you can absolutely feel that beachy lifestyle in Sarasota, but as soon as you are downtown Sarasota, you're in a completely different atmosphere where you encounter some of the best restaurants, bars, theaters, just cultural activities in all of Florida right here in Sarasota. And that to me is the main value proposition for Sarasota, the city and the beaches colliding in a small space. Well, Sarasota is known as a beach town, and with that said, we have some of the best beaches in all of the United States. Siesta Key is essentially the #1 beach in terms of marketing and publicity, and that's because the beach is really deep and wide, and the water is crystal blue, but the sand also is super soft. Softer sand than you've probably encountered anywhere else in the United States. And that's because it's made out of 99% quartz. So that's what makes Siesta Key Beach very special. But we have plenty of other beaches to choose from. In driving distance from the center of Sarasota are essentially 9 beaches. Of course, there's Siesta Key Beach, Turtle Beach and Crescent Beach, but also the Lido Key beaches from North Lido to South Lido beaches. And then further north is Longboat Key and Anna Maria Island. And then south of Sarasota are the Venice beaches, which includes Venice Beach, Castleton Beach, which is known as the shark tooth capital in the world. And then Brohard Beach, which in Sarasota County is the only beach you can take your dog to, but it's also a very beautiful beach, lucky for us, right? So because Sarasota is on the Gulf Coast, what makes the beaches, the water, different from, say, Miami beaches on the other side is the fact that our waters here tend to be much calmer because it's on the Gulf. Not a lot of waves unless the weather is turning and there's a storm coming in. So for surfers, it'll be better on the other side. If you're in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, there absolutely you're going to find a lot of surfing spots. Not here as much. It's much more about tranquility and having crystal clear, calm, warm waters. That's really the main difference between the east and the west. Also, we get to enjoy the sunsets here. And let me tell you, some of the most beautiful sunset spots are right here in Sarasota. Now on the other coast, you're going to be enjoying sunrises, but I can tell you there's just something so magical about seeing the sunsets and just seeing the sun disappearing until the next day. It's just a really magical moment. Because downtown Sarasota is in close proximity to all major beaches, it makes Sarasota in general an extremely stunning place. Just from a visual perspective, there's so many beautiful, breathtaking spots like I've not seen anywhere else in Florida. And that is one of the reasons why people, when they come visit here, they're contemplating moving here and they're scoping out the area, they fall in love with not just the beaches, but all these other vistas. And I'll give you an example. One of the most stunning vistas is driving over the Ringling Bridge, which is connecting downtown to essentially St. Armand Circle. That drive is just beautiful, being able to see Sarasota Bay. And then right beyond that, if you're on the highest point, you also get to see just a sliver of the Lido beaches. I like to go to the Bayfront area where Marina Jax is. It's just a really nice, calm, serene place to walk your dog in, to have picnic in, just to look at the yachts that are coming in and out. And when you turn around and you're facing downtown Sarasota, you get to enjoy the downtown skyline, which for me, I've been here for 13 years now. I have seen it change dramatically into the city that it is now, a thriving city. In Sarasota, you have the beach vistas to enjoy, the skyline, Sarasota Bay vistas, parks. I can't even describe you how many beautiful sceneries there are. There's just too many to count. Sarasota was first known as a circus town, and that was really driven by the Ringling founders, John and Maple Ringling, who ended up being very artistic themselves. They loved the arts, and they were the founding members of the art scene here in Sarasota. And we just capitalized on that spirit. And now Sarasota is known as the cultural hub on the southwest side of Florida. And that's because in a small geographical area, you'll find the most cultural activities, from theaters to arts venues to plays. I mean, there's just so much to do, and that makes Sarasota really special. You get to be part of the cultural scene, which in itself for Florida is one of the best. Van Wezel is our largest performing arts hall. It's the iconic building, which is right by the Bay, Sarasota. Through there, we get some of the most popular artists. So for example, in the next few days, we have Diana Krall. She's a jazz singer, and she's won, I believe, 2 Grammys. She's going to be here in the next few days singing her heart out. Hamilton, the Broadway show that's going to come through here fairly soon. So we have a very packed performance schedule throughout the entire year with performers who come from all over the world, really. Then there's also the Urbanite, which is one of my favorite theaters. It's a small, intimate theater experience that is very similar to some of the theater experiences I've actually encountered in New York City. I'm originally from New York, and I feel they do a really good job putting on eccentric, mentally stimulating plays. There's plenty more theater spots to go to. Florida Studio Theater, for example, the Apollo Theater, a lot of different culture activities that are being put on throughout the year. So if you're somebody that loves the art, or you just want to have different kinds of things to do that are more artistic in nature, you're going to be surprised by how much Sarasota actually puts on in that category. Absolutely. Our downtown area is super active. I moved here 13 years ago. I wouldn't have said that 13 years ago. And that's because I remember walking down the streets Saturday night and not much was open. Not a lot of people were downtown. Well, that's not the case anymore. Downtown is truly thriving, and there's just a lot of different night spots to go to, restaurants, a few rooftop bars with beautiful vistas. And like any city, there are some really nice scenic spots to go to. In New York City, you've got Central Park. In Sarasota, you have the Bayfront area or the Bay, which is right by the Van Wezel. The Bay Sarasota is one of the most exciting projects that we have here in Sarasota, and it's an initiative that's looking to transform 53 acres of land right by the bay into becoming the heart and soul of downtown Sarasota. That's what I call it, the heart and soul. Just like what they've done with the pier in St. Petersburg, I do believe the Bay will be doing this for Sarasota, and it's going to be a place for everyone to go to escape, just to go somewhere that's a little bit more tranquil. Now, to see the entire Bay plant come alive, that's going to take probably another 8 to 10 years, and they're going to be opening up different phases along the way. Phase 1 was completed just a few years ago, and that's already added so much to the Bay. Especially, it's giving us a real taste of what the area is going to look like once completely done. I can't wait to see what else is in store for downtown Sarasota. What I've seen thus far is very positive, and it will help people who live in the Sarasota area live an even more enriching life. You've probably already heard somebody say that Sarasota has something for everybody. You might have heard it in other YouTube videos. Maybe you've had one-on-one conversations with people who live here in Sarasota, and that's absolutely true. And there's really 3 parts of why that is. We already talked about the first part, and that is Sarasota is not just about the beaches, but it is about downtown Sarasota, and it's also very cultural, vibrant city to live in. But also Sarasota is made out of different types of neighborhoods. Each of them will feel different and will also have different real estate prices. So for example, you can live the downtown Sarasota lifestyle, apartment living. You've got neighborhoods that are gated, resort style living, most notably Palmer Ranch. Then you've got non-deed restricted communities. So this is where outside of county and city regulations and rules, you really don't have a lot of rules to follow because you don't have an HOA telling you what to do. So each one of these neighborhoods is going to feel very different, and the real estate prices are going to be different as well. Real estate prices have come up, especially over the last 4 years, but that's really the case across the United States and across many other Florida regions. Right now, the median price for a single family home is going to be right around $550,000. Condos are going to be more affordable, and there you're looking at a median price in the $300K range. If you wanted to be further away from the shoreline, you can look at a map. Highway 75 now kind of divides what I would call the original Sarasota from the new Sarasota, which would be east of Highway 75. And this is where you'll find Lakewood Ranch. If you think you're going to love Sarasota, come visit here, spend a week, 2 weeks, get to know these different neighborhoods, the real estate price points, but more importantly, each one of these neighborhoods, and there's plenty of them, it's almost like you're putting these puzzle pieces together, and then once it's all together, Sarasota is created. But each one of these neighborhoods will have its own DNA, its own feel. Sarasota does a really good job getting people who live in the area together through these different kinds of events. And the events we have here could be arts events, it could be events for children. There's just a lot to do throughout the entire year. There's actually a calendar that I'm going to post in the description section of this video that allows you to see what's happening on a daily basis in Sarasota. You'll see that there's no shortage of events in Sarasota. Now I'm going to mention a few events that stands out for me on a yearly basis. We have the Sarasota Film Festival, and it's one of the best film festivals in the United States. We've got Lights in Bloom, which is held at the Selby Gardens, our botanical gardens here in Sarasota, and it runs from December into January, and there you'll see over 2 million lights come alive. Absolutely breathtaking. Now on a monthly basis, we have plenty of events that happen as well. In Lakewood Ranch, there's Music on Main, which is every first Friday of the month. Then on a weekly basis, and this is a really fun one if you haven't been to it yet and you're visiting, I highly suggest it, and that is the Drum Circle. It's on Sunday evenings, right around sunset. You'll find groups of people that come together at the beach. They'll make music, they'll play the drums, they'll dance. It's a very carefree event. We've got plenty of farmers markets in the area, including the farmers market in downtown Sarasota. That's typically Saturday morning. And then there's one in Lakewood Ranch that's on Sundays, and that's in Waterside Place. There's no way you can get bored in Sarasota unless you want to. Sarasota is a perfect place to take advantage of the powers of Blue Mind just because of our geographical location and what we have accessible to us. And so I'm going to introduce Blue Mind because I think it's such a powerful concept, which is actually based on scientific research. And so here's a book that you can read if you like reading. It's by Wallace Nichols. He's a researcher, and he came up through his research with the surprising scientific findings that showcases how being near, in, on, or underwater can make you happier, healthier, more connected, and better at what you do. Sarasota is one of the best landscapes you can feel, you can experience Blue Mind because we have all these beaches accessible to us. We also have the Sarasota Bay, which is just a beautiful body of water in itself. And I can tell you, I do a lot of sunset walking. I'll dip my feet into the warm waters that we have on Siesta Key or Turtle Beach, or my favorite beach, which is actually North Lido Beach. And there's such a tranquility that I feel when I'm looking out into the water, when I feel the warm water just touching my skin. Now, for you people who can work remote, and there's plenty of you out there now, why wouldn't you want to live somewhere that is a tropical paradise and have places accessible to you that you can go to in order to de-stress? I think there's just so much value that offers to us. This is an absolute value proposition that Sarasota has to offer, where you can find your Blue Mind. If you look at the map of Florida, you'll see that Sarasota is very centrally located on the southwest side of the coast. And so if you want coastal living, then Sarasota is going to be smack in the middle of Florida, on the coast, of course. And that makes it a really convenient place to live in, especially if you wanted to take advantage of other great places that Florida has to offer and being able to travel to it fairly easy. St. Petersburg is an awesome metropolitan place to go visit. It's only 37 miles away. Tampa to the north is 61 miles away. So in an hour's drive, you're in Tampa. Orlando, which is up and over to mid-Florida, that's going to be about 131 miles away. I've actually done the drive in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Naples, which is to the south of Sarasota, that's going to be around an hour and 45 minutes away. And if you wanted to get to Miami, and I actually just did that trip not too long ago where I met my family in Miami, my family coming in from Belgium. We spent an entire weekend there. That was an easy drive for me to meet them there. It just took about 3 hours and 15 minutes. So Miami is going to be about 233 miles away. I absolutely appreciate being able to go to all these different travel destinations in Florida that people come to from all over the world, and I just have to hop in my car and a few hours later I'm there. So no need for jumping into a plane, just going through all that hassle, where for us it's just an easy escape for the weekend. Sarasota County is an A-rated public school system, which is especially great for those people who are investing in real estate here. You know that in general, if schools are good in an area, it'll drive more demand for that area, especially for those people who have kids, and there's plenty of them out there. The latest information on the rankings came in December 11th last year, where Sarasota County schools earned an A grade from Florida Department of Education yet again. Actually, over the last 20 years, it's been rated A. We have a very sought after school called Pineview. It's actually a school for the gifted. And apparently, depending on which national and state rankings you look at, it's been considered the #1 school in Florida. It's #1 elementary school in the United States and the #6 magnet school in the United States. And then per niche.com, Sarasota County Schools has been ranked as the best in Florida in its just 2024 best schools and district rankings. And then lastly are the Sarasota Accolades that we've received over the last few years, which really reinforces the idea that Sarasota is one of the best places to move to in the United States, and arguably so the best place to move to in Florida. It was voted 5th best place to live in the United States. It was voted as the #1 best place to live in Florida, the #1 best place to retire in the US. Siesta Key Beach having been voted as the #2 best beach in the US. Lots of different accolades that we've received over the last few years. It just really reinforces the fact that Sarasota is one place you definitely have to discover if you're looking to move to Florida, because chances are you're going to fall in love with the area. If you have any questions in terms of Sarasota and all the different regions around it, feel free to call me anytime. Email me, text me. I'm always accessible to you guys. And just know that I work on new construction and existing homes, so I can help you no matter what kind of real estate property you're looking for. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I always enjoy it when you guys do, and take care.